Oh, hello. Hi, I'm Herbert Midgley. I've been teaching at a university for 10 years now, so I thought I'd put together a little bit of collection of tips for first-time students and folks that are going to college uh, on how to do well in college. College, of course, requires a lot of time, money, and you want to make sure you maximize the use of your time there as well. So, first off, here's like some basic rules. One, show up to class. Go to class. This should be like a no-brainer. If you don't go to class, you can't learn what's supposed to be on the tests or exams or the projects. So by just going to the class right there, you're ahead up against a lot of other students at that point there. Uh, Next thing is to take some notes. There's some professors out there that use PowerPoints a lot. Don't feel like you have to write down every bit of information. All you really need to do is write down the key phrases to help you, jog your memory of what actual thought is. That's one of the problems with PowerPoint. You can put so much little information in it and you can't get everything. Obviously, if the professor is stressing something, spending more time on something, that's probably more important than something that just goes by really quickly. So don't feel like you have to write down everything when you're taking notes. Another thing, take some notes. There are some folks that show up to class without a pencil or paper. Show up with some paper and a pencil or pen and write down and take some notes on there. Obviously, if the teacher is talking, it's probably important. They put something on the screen or on the board. Probably a reason why they're doing that. Another thing also is with the use of technology now, with cell phones and little PDA devices and whatnot, and they're basically combined together now, is that if you're in a class, hopefully you're there to learn something. You don't need to learn how to text message. You don't need to learn how to call your friends up on the cell phone or whatnot, or how to surf the web. All that stuff you can do outside of class. When you're in class for that 50 minutes or hour or 2 hour period, however long the class is, your job should be to focus on your job, and your job is to learn. Ask questions. Be active in there. If you're text messaging, you're asleep, you're not paying attention, what's the point of being there? If you're not there mentally, why be there physically? So, I know that when someone calls you or someone text messages you, it's like a visceral reaction. You want to check what it is. For that hour that you're in class, or however long it is, your focus should be on being in that class and learning what you need to do on there. Another point is if there's a textbook, buy the textbook and read the textbook that goes along with the class. There are a lot of folks that actually kind of brag. You know, I ask them what they read. And there's some folks that read a lot of books, and then folks that brag and say, "Well, I don't read. I just don't read. Period." And I know that they're reading stuff off the internet and magazines and things like that. They just don't read novels or books per se. If you're in college, I'm assuming that you're there to learn. And one of the ways you learn is by reading. And really, someone said this to me one time, is the most important things you learn are actually outside the classroom. So if you're in class and someone, and a professor or a student, says something that captures your imagination, or you have a quandary about it, well, use the internet to go find it. Use Wikipedia to go give you some sources to find other information of this if you have some interest in it. You know, if I gave you guys a challenge, like here's a challenge for you right now. Why is there a free public school education in America? How did that come up? Why did it happen? And I'll tell you, there's one big event. And I've asked this question many times, and you can't find it on Google. You can't find it on Wikipedia anywhere. You actually have to do some research to find out what event caused us to have a free public school education in America, in the USA. And so, you know, use your skills out there and see if you can come up with that. If you can come up with an answer, post it on this video here, and so forth. That's probably a question you're not going to get in any class, even an education class per se. But maybe it is important to understand where did something, if you're going to be a teacher, where did that come from? Why is there this system here? And is there some reasons why maybe we should address some things because of that? Maybe on that point there. The other thing I would suggest also is that sit up front. And I know a lot of times it's not so much the case, but it's not possible in every class. Basically, when I went to college, I sat up front, I think, in every class except for some that I just didn't get there early enough that first day to get a seat. Sit up front. If you're not going to go to sleep, you're going to hear the teacher better. The teacher's going to know you. And if you show up every day, they're going to know, hey, this person shows up as Johnny on the spot, and so forth like that. They realize you're serious about it, about your education and so forth like that. So I recommend sitting up front. Can you get an A and sit in the back? Yes, you can. You can earn an A by sitting in the back. You can earn an A anywhere in the classroom. However, I recommend highly for folks to sit up front. And you definitely, there's a lot of benefits to sitting up front in a classroom as well. And, also this happens a lot at times, is that I think sometimes students are kind of afraid, and basically in college, most of the time teachers do what they call direct teach, which means that they talk blah, 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 and so forth like that. And so like sometimes you don't really have a chance to ask a question. And of course, if you raise your hand, pretty much every professor will call on you if you ask your question on that. And don't be afraid if the question is, you might think it might be a stupid question. I mean, yeah, so what if someone laughs at you? No big deal. If you honestly didn't know something, then ask the question about it. Most of the time, my job is to teach. And if you didn't get something, I like to be able to explain it. Even if I've already explained it before, I'll try to explain it quickly, and hopefully that one little thing when I'm focusing on that part there can help you realize what it is and get that information you need on there. And go along with that. Don't be afraid to go up to the teacher after class or before class and say hi, or if you have a quick question. A lot of times they're going to another. I know in my case sometimes I'm teaching 2 classes back to back, so I say, well, come talk to me during my office hour and so forth, because of this. I'm going from one class to another, or send me an email and I can respond back and so forth like that. But they have some contact. Teachers are there because, trust me, they're not there for a paycheck. They're there because they want to teach. They want to have interaction. They love when somebody wants to learn some information. So, go along with that. Talk to your professors as well. Talk to your teachers, and they will really appreciate that a great deal as well. And also, don't be afraid to get a group together in your class. And sometimes they have tutoring, depending on university or school, whatever. But if they have none, get together with a group. You know who's a brainiac in the class, and you can say, hey, I know you did really good on the test. Could you help me out, figure how to study for the next test and so forth like that. If not, get a couple of your friends together, because a lot of times you have 4 or 5 people together. If you forgot something, well, somebody else remembers it, and then you're going to get, and also you're going to have it reinforced again. People expect that you you only listen to something once and then it's perfect and then it's done. No, not necessarily. Sometimes you need to hear something 10 times to finally get it, and that's all right. It's a struggle sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that. So basically, there's some tips out there for the freshmen coming up from this year or future years in the future that are watching this YouTube video. And keep on rocking. Steady.